One of the benefits of differentiated assessment is gathering data that can be used to modify and improve instruction. This holds true not only for identifying student weaknesses, it also holds true for identifying students' interests and strengths. Teachers can use information about students' knowledge and preferences to accelerate learning, provide more challenging assignments, and give stronger students the opportunity to help others. For an example of how teachers can use assessment to build on student strengths, we visited Callanan Middle School in Des Moines, Iowa, and the classroom of teacher Brenna Griffin. Mrs. Griffin has been working on a writing unit, utilizing the 6 traits of writing: ideas, word choice, organization, sentence fluency, voice, and conventions. She will be using the differentiated activity jigsaw in the video lesson. She has pre-assessed her students' knowledge of the 6 traits of writing and will be grouping them based on their skill levels. Now let's watch as she introduces her lesson.
Today we are doing a couple different things in class. We've been working with the 6 traits of writing as a method for revision with student work for about the last 3 weeks. We will be going into a jigsaw assignment that is a piece of their assessment that we're working with for the 6 traits of writing. We've been doing exercises so that the students have an introduction to what they are, but the students actually haven't had a chance to apply them to the work yet. So yesterday I pre-assessed my students on the traits of writing they felt the most comfortable with. I asked them to describe a piece of writing that showed excellence in each trait and describe one way that you would maybe revise a piece to improve this trait of writing. So what I used the pre-assessments for was I assigned each student a trait of writing that they are kind of the expert on today. And some students are more, have more strength in their trait of writing than other students, but they've all been assigned a trait with which they have some comfort. So what they'll do today in their groups is they will work only with their trait, with other students who are also using their trait, to revise a piece of writing that I've given them. And it's another student's work, it's not personal, it's just theirs. And today they're working on making that a lot stronger for their trait of writing and making a list of things that they did to make it stronger. Tomorrow, they will be the expert on that trait of writing and they'll go to another group. So there will be a representative from each trait of writing represented. They'll talk together to make a group revision of the piece of writing. So it's kind of it's an activity that we haven't done yet with this class, so it's new to them. It will require a little bit of explaining so that they know what the process is, but I found it to be pretty engaging, and it lets each student be an expert at something that they already have some strength in. Okay, the 6 traits of writing are organization, so that your piece has things in the right order and the paragraphs make sense. Ideas and content means that you have a narrow enough topic and you have strong details. Word choice is picking the right words. Voice is how clearly you come through in your writing. Sentence fluency is the way that your sentence patterns work together. And then conventions is the 6th trait of writing, so that's all the grammar and spelling and stuff. We're not working with conventions today, we're only working with the 5 revision traits. Assessment is really important because with student writing, it's necessary to get constant feedback because it's hard to tell where a student is with a topic or with a certain aspect of their writing without seeing it over and over. With reading, it's the same way. In a skill-based class where students are at all different levels, it's really important that I'm checking in with students frequently about where they are. So it's really important, and we do it in a variety of ways in here. We're doing something brand new today that we haven't done before in class, and it's something that we'll do again, but it's also something that takes a little bit of explaining up front so that you understand how it's going to work. Okay, so at this time, after you've done your sticky note, I need you to put away books or anything else that you're doing and really focus in so that you understand how this is going to operate, okay? This activity that we're going to do is called a jigsaw. And a jigsaw is a way to say something that means that you're kind of a piece of a puzzle, okay? You're going to be working with two different groups in this activity, okay? You're going to be assigned a group first that deals with the trait of writing. Now, yesterday you took that pre-assessment where you told me what a good example of this trait of writing was, and then one way that you think that you could revise it. I looked at those last night, and I chose a trait of writing for you that I think that you can be successful at today, but that I also think you can still grow in, okay? So I've selected your first group that you're going to be in today. Now today what you're going to do, you can think about yourself as, like when we make a jigsaw, we have two groups. Our group tomorrow has to be made up of one of everything. So let's say our group tomorrow is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this number 1 is organization, number 2 is ideas and content, number 3 is word choice, number 4 is voice, and number 5 is sentence fluency, okay? You can think of it that way, that you're being assigned a number so that tomorrow we have one of each in our group, okay? Today, you're going to work with all the other 1s, if you're a 1, or all the other 2s, if you're a 2, so that you can get your information really solid about your trait of writing and then take it back to your other group tomorrow. Does that kind of make sense? Give me a little nod if that kind of makes sense. You need some help, Jose? Okay, so today let's say that you're assigned the trait of voice. Today you're going to become an expert on the trait of voice using this assignment that I'm going to give you. Tomorrow you're going to meet with the whole group about all of the traits of writing, and each one of you is going to represent a different trait. So like today there will be 4 people who are 1s. And they'll meet together today. But tomorrow, all the 1s will split up and go to a different group so they can teach their trait of writing to their group. Okay? It's okay if you don't quite get it all, because we aren't going into the second group until tomorrow. So today, all you need to know is this. Your job that you do in your group today is important, because you're not just responsible for yourself, you're responsible for your group tomorrow, understanding the trait of writing that you're working on today. So if you find out, oh my gosh, I got sentence fluency, I don't know why she would have given me sentence fluency because I don't understand it at all. You put something on your pre-assessment, or I've seen something in your writer's notebook that shows me that you do understand sentence fluency, whether you think you do or not, okay? So trust me that I put you in a place where you can be successful, and know that you're responsible for becoming more successful to help out a group tomorrow, okay? Look with me at your handout so we can go through the goals of the assignment and the steps. Okay? The goals of this assignment are that you will understand how the 6 traits of writing can help you discuss revision strategies. Because all the 6 traits of writing does for us is give us a way to talk about writing so that we can all be on the same page. So I hope that you will understand that through this assignment. Okay? The second thing is you need to know important characteristics and revision ideas to use in your assigned writing trait, so that you can teach your group tomorrow, and I've already told you that. The third thing is, and I want you to take a special look at this, you will complete the following products. Those are the things that you're going to do. You're going to show that you can assess a piece of writing based on the traits of writing, okay? You're going to show that you can revise a piece of writing based on the traits of writing. If you take a look at these products, they have an I or a G next to them. The I assignments are ones that you need to make your own copies of everything. Those are assignments that you're going to take with you to your group tomorrow, so you have to have your own copy, okay? G assignments are ones that you only need to turn in one for the whole group. So you don't need to make your own copies of that as long as there's one per group. So take a special note of that, and you might want to check them off as you do them. I gave you a space to check them off so you can know which ones you have done, okay? Today what you're going to do, and we're going to do an example together before you do it in your groups, is you're going to read a story. That's the first thing. That's number 1, is pick up your story in your assessment sheet. Those are right here. You're going to come pick these up first of all, okay? After you have those, you're going to read the story. You can read it silently or together. Doesn't matter. And when you're done reading the story, you're going to assess the story according to the traits of writing. Now you're going to be assigned 1 trait, okay? So even if you're assigned word choice and the story has really bad organization and the organization needs to be fixed, it's okay. It's not your job. Your job is word choice, okay? So let's do an example together. I'm going to read you a piece from my writer's notebook. It's about beets, the vegetable, and we're going to assess it together. What trait of writing would you like to assess it for? Someone raise your hand and give me an idea. Erica?
Organization.
Organization. Okay, let's assess it for organization. Now, we are only doing one. So the first thing you need to do when you get your data sheet that looks like this is tell which trait you're doing. Okay? So we're going to assess for organization and nothing else. So you're going to write that on your sheet. Now, while you're reading, you need to try to figure out where you think this falls. So right now, you need to get out your rubric for organization. It's in your binders. You have all of those different rubrics for the traits of writing. Now's the time to use them. Okay, so get out your organization rubric. I'm going to put this story up here, but my handwriting is kind of hard to read. So you can try to follow along, but I'm going to read it out loud, okay? Does everyone know what a beet is so you can get a picture? Okay, it's a red root vegetable, okay? Who raise your hand if you like beets?
I don't know what they are.
You don't know what they are? It's kind of like it kind of looks like a potato with a little tail. They're hard and they're round, and they grow in the ground, and you eat the root of them, okay? So you can kind of get a mental picture, all right? Also, sometimes they're in cans, and they are little circles, which you'll find out in my story, okay? Beets bleed if they are cooked and you cut into them. They also stain Tupperware containers. I always thought I hated beets, but it was because of a bad experience I had as a kid. I was at a salad bar somewhere with my family. I always loved eating at salad bars because I could eat chocolate pudding and candied apples and pineapple instead of salad. But this time they tricked me. I picked up about 6 of those bright red rings, and I couldn't wait to dive into them. You know what a candied apple is? It's that you can get it in a can, and they're bright red rings, and they're really good. They're like sugary and appley and really delicious. Okay, so I thought I got 6 of those. Maybe this incident was punishment for greed or gluttony for the amount of apples I took, but when I bit into my first one, I knew it wasn't an apple. It tasted like vinegar and brown sugar, and it smelled funny too. I had to leave the rest of the beets on my plate, wasted, and I didn't try them again until this summer. That's all we're going to read of that entry, okay? So organization. We're only looking at organization because there are lots of things. This is a first draft piece. There are lots of things we can improve, but let's talk about organization. Look at your rubric right now. If you need to share with your table partner, go ahead and do that. Look at the details under the rubrics or under the numbers because it gives you some examples of what a 5 looks like, a 3 looks like, and a 1 looks like. Now you can also do 2s and 4s. They just fall somewhere in the middle. Okay? So, someone raise your hand and tell me where you think this falls on our rubric. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. As far as just organization goes, nothing else. Because when we start talking about traits of writing, we got to do them one at a time. Elijah?
3.
A 3? Okay, why do you say 3?
The story was in the middle.
Okay.
So it was really bad.
Okay, it was in the middle. And who agrees with Elijah that it's about a 3? Okay, can anyone give another example? Because he says it's kind of in the middle, it's not really bad, it's not really good. But we have to get specific about why it's a 3. You can even read an example right off your rubric. But let's get specific about why it's a 3. What else? Maddie?
Not really an end.
Okay, there's not really an end. It kind of leaves you hanging and just kind of trails off.
You said you didn't read all.
Well, I didn't read all of it. We're going to think of it as a complete piece because that's what we're assessing it for. Okay, how about, are all the details in the right place? Elijah? A comment about the details being in the right place.
We were talking about, the story was supposed to be about beets, but then you started talking about like candied apples and pudding and stuff.
Okay, so maybe there were places where I went out a little off track and I could have organized better, something like that. Jillian?
Like, you have that one thing at the bottom where it says, I haven't tried beets again until this summer.
Okay.
And it's sort of like, it doesn't have anything to do with it. It doesn't really have very much to do with the rest of what the story said.
Okay.
It just sort of was there.
Beginning, so I'm going to just put a couple reasons that we came up with, because that's a good one too. The end, it kind of leaves you hanging, trails off a little bit. Maddie?
In the beginning, the first sentence was really random about how beets bleed when you cut them.
Okay. Now, when you assess your piece of writing, you're only looking at that one trait, just like we only looked at organization. Like maybe you think the voice on that beat piece is okay, but that's not what we're looking at. We're looking at organization. So you're going to Give your number, and you can do 0.5s if you can't make a solid decision, because your whole group has to agree on the number. You have to come to a consensus. Okay, if you're having a huge trouble coming to consensus, raise your hand and I'll come help you out. All right? And then you have to give your reasons why. You must have at least 3 reasons why, because otherwise you can't back yourself up, and you have to be able to back yourself up about what you're thinking. Okay? The next step after you assess the piece and fill out that information, in your group, you're going to talk about the revisions you can make, and you also each need to write your own copy of the new story, okay? The story is only 2 paragraphs long. It's really short so that you can really focus in on what you're doing, okay? I'm going to assign you your groups now. Remember that when I assign you a group, I assign it for a reason, because it's something that I saw in your pre-assessment yesterday or something I've seen in your writer's notebook. Remember that when I assign groups, it is my expectation, because it is a life skill, that you can work with anyone. I never will expect you to be best friends with anyone, but I do expect that you can work with someone even if it's not your best friend. It's only for a day and a half, okay? So after I'm done assigning the groups, what you need to do is come up and get 2 things from the front table. The story, my teacher had a rip in his pants, and 6 traits jigsaw, this individual data sheet. Every group member needs both of these. These are individual assignments. Okay, here are your groups. Organization trait will be Maddie, Casey, John, and Erica. Ideas and content will be Elijah, Jillian, Sadiq, and Andy. Word choice will be Brianna, Shannon, Zach, and Robin. Voice will be Dion, Jose, Thaisa, and Ashley. And sentence fluency will be Quentin, Willem, Karen, and Meredith. Did everyone hear your group? Okay, let's do this to just make it simple. Let's have, this desk is here, so that will be a little bit hard to meet here, but that will be okay. Let's have organization meet here. Ideas and content meet here. We will put word choice here, voice somewhere here, and sentence fluency right over here where Thaisa and Shannon are sitting. Feel free to move chairs, okay? You need these 2 papers, so take a little stretch and come get them and go immediately to your groups. Leave your sticky notes on your tables, please. I'll come and get them. Yeah, get your planner ready. Take the bus.
It has terrible organization. I can't read it.
Okay, you know what I figured out during this morning is that ideas and content has a kind of an especially tricky job. And that's because ideas and content is the meat of your story. It's your details and it's how they fit together. So it's really hard to work on the details of your story without automatically organizing them. Does that make sense? So what I want you to do is try to ignore the organization of the piece when you're assessing it. How are the ideas and content all along? Does it have strong details?
Not really. It has like topic ideas.
It has like a good topic,
But it doesn't have very many details to go with each topic.
Even when it does, it's lame.
Okay, so the story is narrow. It could be a decent story, but the details are not very good, okay? You've got that. You're right. You're right on the money, okay? So what you need to do is figure out how good or bad is it and give your reasons why. Then when you're revising your story, you don't exactly have to rewrite it. What you are going to want to do is maybe make a list of details that could be included, because you can't fix yours without organizing it first. So then tomorrow when you go to your big group meeting, you can organize the details that you've come up with. Does that make sense? And you get kind of a fun job because you weren't there, you don't know what happened, so you get to make it all up. The details of how the teacher's pants worked.
Okay, my first teacher's pants were blue corduroy, the ones that ripped. Then another.
We don't need to know that. We really don't.
What?
We don't need to know that. My first teacher's pants were corduroy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like really.
Well, from these things, it says like it's definitely not a 5. Yeah. And I don't think it's really a 4 either.
I think it's more like a 3 or 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, 3.
2.
You could do it at 2.5.
Yeah,
because they might make decisions. I don't want you to miss it, so we'll just figure out.
Reasons. Why did we rate it a 2.5?
Because it has okay, like,
It has a good topic. It just doesn't have good details that support the topic.
yeah.
So, where you think it fits.
I think the story has like a
4 for voice? Why?
Because I mean, it has good, and he has good description and stuff with his words, and you can tell it's like him talking, not like he's just saying it to say it.
And he's talking like I think he might actually talk.
But it's not all the way, because he kind of repeats stuff, and he doesn't put it together.
Keeps saying,
Okay.
my teacher ripped my pants. Or his pants. He says it a lot.
Well, and something that trait fits more, or that example fits more in with word choice or sentence fluency. So think now about how strong the character comes through. And I think you're right. He or she sounds like a kid. It doesn't sound like it's an adult telling the story.
Yeah, it sounds like it's almost like an elementary student, more almost even, because he's like, it was funny, and they're all talking about giggling and stuff.
These reasons are why you gave it a 4. And you said I think it had a strong voice, but you didn't give it a 5. Okay, so what you need to express more and give more details about is what's wrong with it.
It's not good. I think it has, I chose it because I think it has strong voice.
Okay. And when you do that, because strong voice and not enough voice, if someone didn't know what voice was in writing, they wouldn't be able to know what you're talking about. So then I want you to take it a step further by using some of the examples from the rubric or other examples about how we know it has strong voice. Okay, so you want me to grab one of those? Okay. That's kind of I think you're right. Even though he doesn't need to use fancy language. You guys working together on your word choice, or are you each doing something a little bit different? Okay, that's okay. What I want you to do tomorrow before you disband to other groups is share what you wrote, so that if, like, let's say Zach has a really good expression and you want to use it, you can put it into yours to take it back to your group too. So make sure you share what you're doing, but it's okay if they're different.
We should cross out then in the beginning of the sentence.
It may be. I mean, read it and see what you think. It might make sense, it might not. Okay? It's your piece. So, because I'm thinking you kind of have 3 short sentences in a row. Then the principal came in, he said he would call our parents, so we got quiet. You might be able to combine those so that it's a little bit less choppy.
Maybe, so the principal, we should put a comment instead.
Are you having trouble coming up with examples? Okay.
So we're putting in right there?
Yeah.
Keep still.
You don't have to keep still, but balancing things on your nose is disruptive to your group. Okay, so voice. Ashley came up with a good detail about underwear. What other details could you add that would make a kid's voice shine through even more? Okay, that's your job, so that it sounds more like a child, or more, and you can decide how old they are. You get to pick that.
I'm gonna just say it's like 19. I help that.
Let me see your eyes. Thank you. I do need you to put away your materials and go back to your seats. I need you to do it quite quickly so that we have time to check in before you leave today. Okay? Okay, on your index card, I like you to put your name first. On your table right here. Okay? Name first so I know whose it is. And then I want you to tell me 2 things. Okay? Did you not get one? 2 things. Tell me one thing today that you felt like you understood about your trait of writing. I'll know what trait you did because I know what group you're in, okay? Tell me one thing that you thought you understood well and did well in your group, okay? And not like in terms of being a group participant, but something that you understood well and contributed, okay? Just one. The second thing I want you to tell me is something that you are confused about or that you need help with. Okay? And it could be about you could tell me a trait of writing that you feel like you really don't understand, that you weren't assigned today, or it can be something about the assignment that you're struggling with a little bit. Okay? So just tell me one thing you feel like you understand better, and one thing that you're confused about you need a little bit of help with. It is time to go. So I'd like you to hand me your index card on the way out. Binders today, I'd like you to stack on the windowsill. I will put them away after school. If your sticky note has not been picked up, leave it on the table. You guys did a great job today. Thank you so much. I think overall the lesson went pretty well. I had one group who was having trouble getting focused, but it was more about behavior than what was happening, I think. So I was a little disappointed in them. But overall, as far as the group functioning went and the conversations the students were having in their groups, I felt like they were well placed because they all were contributing pretty well in their groups. So I felt overall pretty good about how the lesson went. I like to use exit cards sometimes when I'm not sure if I've heard from every student or can guess by their work if each student is getting something. And so this exit card, ideally I would have liked to find out a few more things from the students, but there just wasn't time and I wanted to let them keep working in their groups. So once in a while I do have students just jot down something really quickly so I can check in with them on their way out the door.